Derek the Dinosaur by Mary Blackwood. Millions of years before man or machine lived Derek the Dinosaur, little and green. And all day long in his little stone house, he talked to his friend Montmorency the mouse. And this is what he said: "If only I looked like a real dinosaur, with a back full of horns and a mouth full of roar." Instead, Montmorency, what I like best is sitting and knitting. I've made you a vest. Do you think I should try to be more like the others, like Fang and like Fearless, my frightening brothers? Montmorency squeaked nervously, shaking his head. "But you're so much nicer than Fearless," he said. "And knitting's so useful, and Fang makes me fearful." So Derek kept knitting and felt much more cheerful. And so the years passed, and Derek had knitted a wardrobe of trousers and jumpers that fitted his friend Montmorency, and 93 scarves, and dinosaur suits in wholes and in halves, and singlets and tracksuits, and in a big box there were hundreds of pairs of blue woolly socks. But you could hardly get into that little stone house. There was just room for Derek and space for a mouse. And still Derek sometimes wished he could roar and stamp up and down like a real dinosaur. But all of this time in the wild outside, something was happening slowly and strangely. Slowly and strangely, something was happening in all of those years in the wild outside. The world was becoming colder and colder. The snow drifted down over cold hill and boulder. All the fierce dinosaurs stamped up and down, and their breath turned to ice on the cold, stony ground. Said Fearless to Fang, while coughing and wheezing, "It's hard to be savage when you're nearly freezing. I wonder how Derek is. Let's go and see. I expect he is frozen," said Fang gloomily. So those two scary dinosaurs, meekly and weakly, went plodding and sneezing to Derek's front door, where they knocked with an effort, weakly and meekly, and stumbled inside and collapsed on the floor. Before Montmorency could say 1, 2, 3, little Derek had made them a nice cup of tea. Before Montmorency could make up his mind to come out from the chair he was hiding behind, little Derek had measured them, found them some socks, some mittens and singlets, and looked in his box for jumpers and blankets and warm woolly things, joined 6 scarves together with red woolly strings. And all you could see of Fang was his nose, and Fearless was wrapped up right down to his toes. "I'm glad," remarked Fang, when he thawed out a bit, "that dear little Derek would rather just sit and go knittity, 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 knit." "And so am I," squeaked Montmorency.